I never told my hairdresser what I'm about to tell you. For years, I sat in that chair every 6 weeks, asking for just a trim, terrified of anything that looked like real change. Then a stylist who'd been cutting hair for 40 years leaned in and told me the 3 cuts she gives her clients over 70. The ones nobody advertises, because they're not trendy, they're not flashy, they just work. Tonight I'm giving you all 3. Not vague ideas. Exact words to say in the chair, exact reasons why they work on hair that's thinned, grayed, or gone a little unpredictable with age. I researched the best haircuts, the worst mistakes, and the real fixes for women over 50, so you get results that actually hold up under salon lighting and real life. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now because I cover a new secret like this every single week. Part 1. The cut stylists give their own mothers. Here's something most women over 70 never hear out loud. The haircut that makes you look the most cared for isn't the shortest one. And it isn't the longest one either. It's the one almost nobody asks for by name, because nobody's told them it exists. It's called the layered lob with an internal shag, and stylists have quietly been giving it to their own mothers and grandmothers for years, while handing everyone else a safe, predictable bob. You know the moment I mean. You look in the mirror after a fresh cut, and your hair sits there, flat at the crown, heavy at the ends, doing absolutely nothing for your face. It's not bad hair. It's a cut with no shape built into it, so gravity just pulls it straight down and lets it sit there, tired, doing nothing. The fix is specific, and I want you to remember exactly how to ask for it. Tell your stylist, I want a layered lob with internal layering, cut just above the collarbone, with the layers starting at the cheekbone. That phrase, internal layering, matters. It means the layers are cut inside the shape of the hair, not on the surface. The surface stays smooth and full. Underneath, the layers do the actual work, lifting at the crown and adding movement right where your face needs it most. Here's why this works so well on hair that's thinned with age. Fine, aging hair loses density from the root outward, so anything cut in heavy, blunt layers just falls flat immediately. Internal layering removes weight from underneath, so the hair that's left has room to lift and move instead of collapsing under its own weight. You're not adding hair you don't have. You're finally letting the hair you do have do something. Ask for the length to land just above the collarbone, not at the shoulder. This one detail changes everything about how the cut reads. Shoulder-length lobs on thinning hair tend to drag downward, pulling the whole style flat. Landing just above the collarbone gives the ends somewhere to flip and lift instead of weighing straight down. Here's the result you're actually paying for. Once those internal layers are in and the length sits right above the collarbone, the whole silhouette changes shape. Instead of your face looking like it's peeking out from under a heavy curtain of hair, your face becomes the frame's focal point. People stop seeing an older woman with long hair and start seeing you, your cheekbones, your eyes, your expression. That's the entire difference between a cut that ages you and one that doesn't. It's not about cutting hair shorter. It's about giving your face somewhere to live inside the style. I had a woman write to me last month who'd worn the same shoulder-length cut for 15 years because it was easy. She finally asked for this exact phrase at her next appointment. She said the stylist looked at her and said, "Finally, someone who knows what they actually want." 3 weeks later she wrote back and said her daughter asked if she'd done something to her skin. She hadn't touched her skin. She just let her hair stop hiding her face. Now here's the part almost nobody mentions. And it's the second surprise I promised you. This cut only works if you also ask for point cutting at the ends instead of a blunt cut. Blunt ends on aging hair read as heavy and severe, like a hard line drawn under your face. Point cutting softens that line into something feathered and natural, so the ends look like they're moving even when your hair is completely still. Picture the before and after side by side. Before, shoulder-length hair, blunt straight ends, flat at the crown, hanging like a weight around the face. After, a lob landing above the collarbone, internal layers lifting the crown, point cut ends framing the cheekbones with soft movement. Same woman, completely different presence in the room. That's cut number 1, and I promise you the next one solves a problem that's even more common, because it's not about length at all. It's about something happening right at your part line that's quietly aging you every single day. Part 2, the fringe nobody tells you about, 2 cuts. Let's talk about your part line for a second, because it's doing more damage than you think. As hair thins with age, the part naturally widens, and that widening exposes more scalp than it used to. Most women respond by parting even more precisely, trying to hide the width with careful combing. That actually makes it worse. The straighter and more exact the part, the more obvious the width becomes. The fix here is called a root-swept curtain fringe, and it solves two problems in a single cut. Tell your stylist exactly this. I want a curtain fringe that starts at the part and sweeps back over the crown, with root lift built in at the part line. This isn't a traditional fringe cut straight across the forehead. It's soft face-framing pieces that begin right where your part starts and sweep sideways, so they cover exactly the area that's been widening. Root lift is the second half of that phrase, and it's just as important as the fringe itself. Ask your stylist to build in root lift specifically at the part line, meaning the hair is cut and blow-dried in a way that gives the roots a slight forward lean instead of lying flat against the scalp. Combined with the swept fringe, this creates actual dimension right where you need it most, instead of a flat, thin-looking crown. Here's what changes when this is done right. Instead of the eye going straight to the scalp the second someone looks at you from above, the eye follows the movement of the fringe sweeping across, and the slight lift at the root gives the whole crown a sense of thickness that isn't really there, but reads as completely natural. Nobody looking at you thinks she's covering something up. They think her hair has so much body. I want to tell you about a woman named Rosalind who came to one of my live sessions in tears, genuinely, because she said she'd started wearing hats to the grocery store to avoid people seeing her part line. That's how much this had gotten into her head. She asked for exactly this phrase at her next cut. She told me the stylist did the root lift, showed her how to angle a round brush at the part for 30 seconds each morning, and she cried again, but for a completely different reason. She said it was the first time in 3 years she'd left a salon without immediately checking the crown and every reflective surface she passed. Now this same appointment is the perfect place to ask for the second cut in this part, because it works alongside the fringe rather than against it, and it's just as overlooked. It's called a face-framing shag layer, cut specifically around the temples and jaw, distinct from the internal layering we covered in the last part, because this one is visible on the surface, meant to be seen. Tell your stylist. Add face-framing layers at the temples, shorter through the jaw, blended into the fringe. These pieces are cut to hit right at the jawline, shorter than the rest of the length, and they do something remarkable for a face that started to soften with age. They create a visual line that draws the eye upward, toward the cheekbones and eyes, instead of letting the gaze drop straight down to the jaw and neck. It's the same principle a good tailor uses with a neckline. The right line redirects attention exactly where you want it. The result, when the fringe, the root lift, and the face framing layers are all working together, is a crown that reads as full, a part line that disappears into movement instead of scalp, and a jawline that looks lifted without a single needle or procedure involved. Before, a widening part, hats to hide it, eyes drawn down at the jaw. After, swept fringe with root lift covering the crown, face framing layers pulling attention up to the eyes. That's not a haircut trick. That's someone finally working with your bone structure instead of ignoring it. There's one more cut left, and it's the one I get asked about the most, because it terrifies almost every woman over 70 before she tries it, and then she never goes back to anything else. Part 3, the Pixie nobody warned you would look this good. Let's be honest about the word Pixie for a second, because I know what it does to a lot of women over 70. It sounds young. It sounds severe. It sounds like something you'd regret in the mirror at 8 in the morning with nobody around to fix it. That fear is exactly why almost nobody over 70 tries the one version of it that actually works for this age. And it's a shame, because it might be the most flattering cut in this entire video. It's called a textured pixie with an extended nape, and the extended nape is the detail that changes everything. A traditional pixie is cut short and tapered all the way up the back of the head, which on aging hair can look severe, almost masculine, and it draws attention to a neckline that most women over 70 would rather soften, not expose. Here's exactly what to say instead. I want a textured pixie with an extended nape, longer through the back and sides, with the shortest layers only at the crown. That extra length at the nape softens the entire back profile. So instead of a severe, tapered cut, You get something with a gentle, feminine line that still has all the lightness and lift of a true pixie up top. The texture part of the phrase matters just as much. Ask for texturizing shears through the crown specifically, not an overall buzz or an even trim. Texturizing removes just enough weight from each strand that the shortest layers at the crown stand up naturally, giving you volume and lift without a single drop of product. On hair that's thinned with age, this is the difference between a pixie that looks purposeful and one that looks like there simply wasn't enough hair left to do anything else. Here's the result that surprises almost everyone who tries this. Because the nape stays longer and softer, the cut reads as elegant rather than severe, but because the crown is texturized and lifted, it still has energy, still has that light, effortless quality that makes a pixie feel youthful in the first place. You get both things at once. The softness that keeps it flattering on a mature face, and the lift that keeps it from reading as flat or overly practical. It's the one haircut in this entire video that gets the most unsolicited compliments, because it looks intentional in a way most people can't quite name. They just know it looks good. I heard from a woman named Colette who'd worn the same chin-length bob for over a decade, terrified of going too short. She finally brought in this exact wording, extended nape, texturized crown, and told her stylist she wanted to try it just once. She said the moment the cut was finished, she didn't recognize the woman looking back at her, in the best possible way. Her exact words to me were that she looked like she'd finally stopped apologizing for her hair. One more detail worth knowing before you sit in that chair. Ask specifically for a diagonal fringe rather than a straight across one on this cut. A straight fringe on a pixie this short can look stark against a mature face. A diagonal fringe, swept slightly to one side, softens the forehead and works with the extended nape to keep the whole silhouette gentle rather than graphic. Before, a chin-length bob, flat and safe, worn for years out of fear rather than love. After, a textured pixie with an extended nape and a diagonal fringe, soft at the back, lifted at the crown, and completely unafraid of itself. 3 cuts, 3 exact phrases to bring to your next appointment. But there's one more thing your stylist almost certainly isn't telling you. Something that has nothing to do with the cut itself, and everything to do with why some of these styles hold for 6 weeks and others fall apart in 6 days. Part 4. The secret behind why some cuts actually last. Here's something that might genuinely surprise you. The cut isn't the only thing determining whether you walk out of that salon looking like the after photo for 6 days or 6 weeks. It's the angle the scissors were held at while cutting, something almost no client ever thinks to ask about, and something a lot of stylists won't volunteer, unless you specifically bring it up. Most haircuts on aging hair are cut at what's called a 0-degree angle, meaning the scissors are held flat against the section, straight across. That's fine for some styles, but on hair that's already lost density, it tends to create ends that look blunt and heavy almost immediately, and the whole shape starts collapsing within days because there's no built-in texture holding it up. Here's exactly what to say before your stylist even picks up the scissors. Can you cut this at a 45-degree angle instead of straight across, to build in texture that'll hold longer? That angled approach, sometimes called slide cutting, removes weight gradually along each strand instead of chopping it off in one flat line. The result holds its shape far longer, because there's no single heavy edge for gravity to pull down all at once. This one question changes the entire lifespan of any of the 3 cuts we just covered. The layered lob holds its lift at the crown for weeks instead of days. The curtain fringe keeps its sweep instead of falling flat by the following morning. The textured pixie keeps its crown height instead of needing constant restyling. One angle. One sentence you say out loud before the first cut is even made. There's a second piece to this that almost nobody asks about either. And it happens after the cut, not during it. Ask your stylist to blow dry the hair using a small round brush, lifting directly at the root, before you leave the salon, rather than letting it air dry or using a paddle brush. This isn't vanity. It's information. Watching exactly how the stylist creates that root lift in real time, the angle of the brush, how long they hold it, means you can recreate it yourself at home the next morning. Instead of walking out with a beautiful cut you have no idea how to maintain. I want to tell you about a reader named Marguerite, who wrote to me after trying all 3 cuts over the course of a year, moving from the lob to the fringe to finally the pixie. She said the biggest change wasn't any single haircut. It was learning to ask questions in that chair instead of sitting quietly and hoping for the best. She said for the first time in her life, she left a salon appointment feeling like a collaborator instead of a passenger. That's really the heart of everything in this video. It was never really about the scissors or the angle, or even the exact wording, though all of that matters and I want you to use every phrase I gave you. It's about walking into that chair as someone who knows exactly what she's asking for, instead of someone hoping the stylist happens to guess right. Before, sitting quietly saying just a trim, hoping for the best. After, naming the cut, naming the angle, naming the finish, and walking out with something that actually lasts. You now have everything the woman in that chair 40 years into her career finally told me, word for word. You now have 3 exact cuts and the exact words to ask for each one, plus the one detail about cutting angle that decides whether any of it actually lasts past the first week. That's more than most women learn in a decade of haircuts. You walked in not knowing what to ask for, and you're walking out able to name the cut, the angle, and the finish out loud in the chair with total confidence. Which of these 3 cuts are you trying first, the lob, the fringe, or the pixie? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Next week I'm covering the exact color formulas stylists use to keep gray hair looking rich instead of dull. So you don't want to miss that one. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.